Hi friends, it's Peggy Noe from PrettyPaperCards.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to give you a sneak peek of the beautiful new Dandy Garden Mega Suite by Stampin' Up! This Mega Suite is going to be available on January 5th, 2021 in the January to June 2021 mini catalog. And I wanted to just give you a taste of what you might find there, of all the things in the suite. These are two cards that I've made using the items in the suite, and I'm going to make a version of this today. So let me start though by showing you that a mega suite usually has more than one stamp set, and that's what this particular mega suite has. Two beautiful stamp sets, Garden Wishes and Dragonfly Garden. Now the Dragonfly Garden set comes with a fabulous Dragonfly punch that you can punch out a large and like a baby dragonfly. We're going to use that today, that punch. The Garden Wishes stamp set comes with a beautiful set of dies called the Dandy Wishes dies, 14 dies altogether. And I just want to give you a little this is a sneak peek because these four dies right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, create this flower, this dandelion. Isn't that gorgeous? And I'm sure there's a lot more we can do it. This was this is the first time, my first time of using it. So I just was playing there. And here's a little bee that's in this set. The Garden Wishes set has a cute little bee down here. And there's a little bee die to cut him out, and a little, that's his trail. I think that will kind of emboss your paper. So there is a lot in this suite. Now, in addition to that, we have a beautiful set of designer series papers, 6x6, called the Dandy Garden Designer Series paper. And of course, each side is, you get 48 sheets, and I think 4 each of 12 designs, I want to say. I don't know, but it's a lot. And look at that little bee. Isn't he cute? And you can cut this little bee out with your die also. I think he's so darling. And part of what you get in this set of designer series paper, here is another sheet. Now, I have been so excited about this that I have used, this is my last sheet, and I got 4 of them. But what I love is that it allows you to punch out. It works with the punch, and you can punch out these dragonflies, which is what we're going to do today. Also with this suite is some Mossy Meadow braided linen trim, which I'm going to try to use today. And what we're using today also that's in the suite are these beautiful Memories and More cards and note cards and envelopes. Now these cards are a little larger than our general cards. They're 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 with this pattern on the front, and that's in our bumblebee color. And they come with these beautiful coordinating envelopes with the dandelions on the envelope and also on the inside flap. And we're going to use one of these today to get started. So, and then I'll show you my favorite little thing in this mega suite. I'll show it to you in a little bit, and we'll put it on our card. So I'm going to start by putting a piece of bumblebee cardstock right in here, and this is 6 by 4, so that we'll cover most of this up, but it'll show out from underneath. And of course you don't have to. My other card I didn't, but I just thought I'd do something different to show you what all can be done. I'm using my trusty multi-purpose glue so that I can move my piece of paper around and see if I can make sure that I get it kind of equal on all sides, equally in, positioned correctly. And now we've got that glued down, and that's the beginning of our card. Now we're going to go on over to our piece of Whisper White cardstock, 5 1/2 by 3 1/2. And we're going to stamp this dandelion plant. I was thinking, you know, a lot of people pull up dandelions because they are weedy, but we don't have to worry about these because they're just beautiful on a card, and we don't have to worry about them being weeds. So I've got my stamp inked with my old olive ink, and I'm going to stamp it right here on my piece of Whisper White. And I'm going to press down to make sure it's completely inked, my paper, and there is the beautiful stamp. Isn't that a pretty stamp? You really don't need to do anything else. In fact, we're not really going to. On my other cards, I tried to, and I did color in the dandelions, but I don't think I am this time because it's so pretty just as it is. But one thing we are going to add, we're going to add a little grouping of small dragonflies, and this stamp is from the other stamp set. I'm going to use stamps from both stamp sets. This one is from the Dragonfly Garden, and here are the dragonflies right here, a little grouping. They're the little groupies that follow the big dragonfly. And I'm using Misty Moonlight ink because our dragonfly is going to be a Misty Moonlight dragonfly. So I'm just going to stamp these little guys lightly up at the top here, just very lightly. And there they are. They're the groupies. Very cute. Okay, now what we're going to do is go ahead and punch the Misty Moonlight dragonfly out of this piece of 6x6 Dandy Garden Designer Series paper. And you can see when you turn the punch upside down that it will punch a little dragonfly and a big one. And I'm just going to concentrate on the big one today. And what I've learned is that because this slides in, you need to slide the paper in this way to work with the punch. It's good to have a full-size sheet of paper that you can handle to move it about. So I'm going to just see if I can get that little body in the punched area, and just punching it. Now you get a free punched little baby dragonfly here. It really doesn't line up with the paper, but you get an extra little one, so that's a bonus there. So here is our Misty Moonlight dragonfly, and I think what we'll do now is we'll go ahead, before we adhere him, we will go ahead and adhere this stamped piece to our card base with some multi-purpose glue. Oh, wait, I wanted to add that ribbon. I'm so glad I remembered. I've been forgetting it on the other cards I made today. And I think it's so pretty and it really adds a little something. So let's pull this ribbon around the back here. Make sure it's flat back there. And I always like to leave plenty of ribbon to do anything I want. I don't like to end up with too little ribbon, especially when I want to tie a bow. And I really do want to tie a bow because this ribbon is just so pretty. And let's see, I want to make sure when you're tying a bow, it's good to just make sure everything is kind of flat and the sides are turned the way you want them to be. And now, I don't know if you can see, let's put this up a little bit. There's one loop, and we'll put the other one over and in, and grab it there from the back. There we go. And there's our little bow. And then you just work with your bows to make them just to get them just the way you want. You can just keep playing. I think that's one thing a lot of people don't do, is they don't take the time to just kind of manipulate the bow. You just keep working with it and fluffing it up, and you can end up getting it just the way you want. And sometimes if I don't, then I stick it down with a little glue dot. Don't tell though, that's a secret. Okay. So there's our little bow, and actually I think what we're going to do now, let's get it going up like that. I think I'm going to put this at an angle. It looks good that way, doesn't it? Let's put it up on some Stampin' Dimensionals. You know, doing different little things always just makes the card of more interest. Especially if people are used to seeing it a particular way. They're thinking, oh, the card is going to go, you know, it should be all straight. But when you give this little angle, it just adds interest, and people will say, ooh, that is interesting. And it just shows, since it's a homemade card, that you thought a little bit about it and wanted to just ramp it up a little bit. Okay, so let's put this piece just at an angle like that. Okay, now let's get our, I'm not going to trim off my tails quite yet. I want to see how the rest looks. So we're going to put our dragonfly on there with a couple more dimensionals to raise him up. And then we'll see how that looks. And there are his little groupies following behind. And let's see what we have here. We'll just try to tie that a little bit. Get that bow looking a little better. And I'm debating about where to put the sentiment on. Do you just ponder sometimes when you're making your cards, like, where should I put that sentiment? And I'm thinking we might just put it right in here. So let's go ahead and stamp that. The sentiment I'm using is, let me see, For a True Friend. And we're going to stamp that out of, well, we could stamp it out of the Misty Moonlight. But we're going to go with, well, I'll go ahead and keep up what I've done before, which is the Old Olive. And we'll just stamp that out of the Old Olive. Now I've got a 1/2 inch piece of cardstock here. And I'm going to try to get this little guy straight, this little sentiment. There we go, For a True Friend. That's a very nice sentiment. And it allows you to give a card to one of your good friends. So I think I'm going to put it right in like that. I'm going to trim a bit off here at the back. And then for the front, I'm going to make a flagged end. And let's see how I want it there. Okay, so I'm going to trim it down just a tiny bit, just a tad, like that. And then we'll do our flagged end by cutting in a bit in the center, and then you cut from corner to the center point, and then again from the other corner to the center point. We do have punches that do that, but just for one, it's kind of easy to do this. And there's our little sentiment For a True Friend, and we'll put that on dimensionals also. And then I'm going to show you the special surprise that I have for you. That is one of an embellishment that's part of this suite, and it is so cute. I wanted to save it for a surprise at the end. All right, so here's our sentiment For a True Friend. Okay, and now these are the fun embellishments. They are Ladybug Trinkets. Can you see that? Let me get all this stuff out of the way. They are teeny tiny little ladybugs. Whoops, they're so small, but they are so cute. Can you see that little guy? And they're easy to put on. You wouldn't think so, but they go on with one mini glue dot. So excuse me as I reach over to get my mini glue dots there. And can you see the glue dot right there? All I'm going to do is place the ladybug right on top of the glue dot, just like that, and pull it up. The glue dot comes with him. And then where should we put the little ladybug? I think we might tuck him right in here, because they usually are on leaves, aren't they? Aren't they usually on leaves of plants? Look at that. Isn't it so cute? Oh my gosh, I love these little ladybugs. And now we'll trim off our ribbon tails here. well, let me see. I kind of don't like that it's doing that. We'll trim it a bit shorter then. I prefer to have them long, but if they go wonky, then I usually will trim them back short. Okay. Let's trim this one just a hair bit more. I start doing this and then I think, oh, then I have to trim the other one shorter and then the other one shorter. That. You know what? I'm going to get out my good ribbon scissors. They always do a better job. There we go. And there's our adorable Dragonfly card, and we don't have to do any work on the envelope because we have this beautiful envelope to go right with it that's already created. And I just love this Dandy Gardens Mega Suite. I hope you liked it too and that you enjoyed this preview, little sneak peek. And if you need a catalog, just contact me, email me if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you'd like to see the newest catalog. Peggy at prettypapercards.com. I would be happy to send you a catalog for free. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would really appreciate you subscribing. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.